What's up, everyone? Chris from Pickdawgz.com here with the Wraparound. We're going to be breaking down the NHL action going down on Wednesday, November 26th, 2025. But before we get to the Wraparound, if you were looking for my best bets, the games that I love the most, the ones that I have the most money on every single day, you can find us at Pickdawgz.com by clicking the Premium Picks tab or the Experts tab at the top of the page. You can also click the link in the description of this video below or type out the link on the screen. And we've also got so much free pick content here at YouTube and our website that the premium plays on the premium side are the best of the best. It's Pickdawgz Premium is 4. I went 9-2 in the college hoops card on Tuesday. Hoping to keep that rolling going forward into another loaded college hoops card on Wednesday. So we're going to have plenty of plays there. Going to have plenty of plays from the NHL on the board, including my NHL Power Play. So remember to use the promo code PICK at checkout. Get 15% off your purchase. We've also got our Inner Circle. It's something we've been mentioning a lot in our videos lately, whether it's the daily videos or the wraparound or what have you. Now, it's not for everyone. It is for those who are placing larger bets of at least $1,000 or more per game, which is the requirement to be accepted into the service. But we still got a lot of high rollers and big bettors that have joined the club already and had a lot of early success with the bankroll management, the one-on-one coaching, the early releases. So if this sounds like something that's for you, reach out by calling or texting the number on the screen and we'll get you some more information. But we're here to talk about a 15-game NHL card on Wednesday. It was just a one game yesterday, so I decided to try to recharge and focus up and come in strong today. No games tomorrow on Thursday. Happy Thanksgiving for everyone, or at least early Thanksgiving. We'll still have plenty of coverage for you guys throughout the day for everything that's going on. But like I said, we're here to talk about 15 games. Don't have to bet every single one. There are some spots here that I don't necessarily love, but there are some spots that I do. And you guys will get my thoughts and my takes on all these games. So let's not waste any more time. You guys know the drill. You ready? I'm ready. Let's get into it. Our first game takes us to the Amerant Bank Arena, where this matchup between the Florida Panthers and Philadelphia Flyers will take place. And the Philadelphia Flyers have been a great team on the road this season. They've been able to provide us a lot of value on the road, especially on the puck line when they're getting heavy underdog prices. I just don't think I love this spot for them because they are still a very young team. The Florida back-to-back is one of the tougher road trips to make in the NHL. And you're starting to get a Panthers team starting to find themselves offensively after a bit of a slow start to the season. They just put 8 on Nashville's head on the road in that last game. And now we're seeing, Florida get back home where they've been far stronger this season. Philadelphia's dropped their last 2 road games by a combined score of 8-1 against high-quality teams in Dallas and Tampa Bay. They just got shut out by the Lightning. I think that Florida's starting to find themselves, like I said, at home, starting to get into one of those grooves. After that slow start, I think the Panthers take down this one. I'm going to take the Panthers to win this one on the money line. Next, we're going to the PPG Paints Arena where the Pittsburgh Penguins take on the Buffalo Sabres. And, for me, it just still goes back to the fact that, yes, Buffalo picked up a win in one of their most recent road games over Detroit, and they did win 3 of their last 4 at home. But the fact of the matter is this team still only has the 1 win on the road this season. And now they're going into Pittsburgh, taking on a Penguins team that is slightly desperate. They've dropped 7 of their last 9 games. But despite that, they're still favored in this matchup. I think that Buffalo, while the form is nice for the Sabres, I want to see this team prove that, the last road game wasn't just a fluke. Maybe they carry that momentum out onto the road and get the job done, but I'm not buying into it just yet with this Buffalo Sabres team because every time I do, they just seem to disappoint as they have, every single year. I always say it. The Sabres at a certain point it's hard to figure out when sometimes, but what they do is they start out well. They have moments where you get hope, and then bang, it all falls out. The wheels fall off the cart. I need to be proven by Buffalo. So I'm going to take the Penguins in this one at home. I'm going to take them on the money line. Now we're off to the Lenovo Center where the Carolina Hurricanes take on the New York Rangers. And another matchup where, the New York Rangers have been great on the road this season, but we've started to see them stumble away from home. And this is a tricky travel spot for the Rangers. They went from Utah, elevation, back home, 1 day's rest, played St. Louis. Now they're back out on the road to take on Carolina and started a little mini 2-game road trip. It's just a lot of travel, a lot of miles for the New York Rangers, who have dropped 3 straight on the road after being so strong on the road to start the season. And now you've also got to take on a Carolina Hurricanes team that's been great at home. Yes, they've been inconsistent. They've alternated wins and losses in 8 straight, but like I said, at home is where this team has been at their best. I think that the Carolina Hurricanes take down the Rangers here. I need to see the Rangers get that road form back before I'm going to back them against a quality team like the Carolina Hurricanes. So I'm going to take the Hurricanes to win this one inside of 60 minutes, or I'm going to take them on, put a little bit on Hurricanes puck line as well. Central Center, where the New Jersey Devils take on the St. Louis Blues. And the St. Louis Blues, for me, just continue to be one of the most disappointing teams in the NHL this season. They continue to find ways to lose hockey games. They've now scored 2 goals or less in 5 straight games, exactly 2 goals in 4 straight. And now they go on the road to take on a New Jersey Devils team that's still 8-0-1 at home this season, one of the best home records in the NHL. You know, they're finding ways to get the job done. They did have a few close calls at the beginning of the month, but, you know, New Jersey, it just seemed like home cooking was what this team needed after losing the final 3 games of their recent road trip. I just can't get behind the St. Louis Blues in any way, shape, or form. And I've said before, if we're going to keep getting decent prices to fade the St. Louis Blues, I am not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. I am going to take them. I'm going to take the New Jersey Devils in this one. I'm going to take them on the money line. Now we're going to the Capital One Arena, where the Washington Capitals take on the Winnipeg Jets. And Washington, for me, is the play here because they're in great form right now. They've won 4 of their last 5 games. The problem that I have with Winnipeg right now is, A, they've been losing a couple of games lately at home where they're supposed to be at their best. But B, I don't trust Winnipeg right now without Connor Hellebuck between the pipes. You know, we've seen Eric Comrie's been getting the starts for Winnipeg as of late. He's a serviceable backup at times, but he is not a number 1 caliber goaltender that I want to have to rely on game in and game out for Winnipeg and hope that we're going to get results from them. This is more of a plus money price that you're going to see with the Winnipeg Jets more often than not. And if they had their number 1 in net, I would say absolutely take a shot on the Winnipeg Jets here. But with their backup being the number 1 for the foreseeable future until Hellebuck returns from his injury, which looks like it's about 4 to 6 weeks, I got to keep rolling with the other side. I'm going to take the Washington Capitals in this one. I'm going to take them on the money line. Now we're going to the Benchmark International Arena for this game between the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Calgary Flames. And, you know, the Calgary Flames, they've won 3 straight. But my problem is that the Dallas game was at home, and then they beat up on 2 teams on the road in Buffalo and Vancouver, who I still haven't been all that high on this season. And now you got to go into Tampa Bay to take on a Lightning team that's found themselves again. They've won 4 straight. They're playing great defense and have great goaltending right now from Andrei Vasilevsky and even Jonas Johansson. And, you know, the Lightning for me are just the better team heads and shoulders in this matchup. I think that Calgary is just a team that I'm not going out of my way to back in any way, shape, or form. I don't think success with this team is going to be sustainable. And I think that this is a spot where I just want to take the Lightning in this one at home, where they've been at their best for a better part of the last couple decades. So give me the Tampa Bay Lightning to win this one in regulation and put a little bit on Tampa Bay puck line as well. Now we're going to Nationwide Arena for this game between the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Toronto Maple Leafs. And, you know, I love my Toronto Maple Leafs. You can see the jersey behind me, but I called, one of my most reliable sources to talk about the Leafs. I called my dad on the weekend and I said, I need you to talk me off the ledge with the Toronto Maple Leafs. And he said, son, I can't do that right now. Right now, the Toronto Maple Leafs just don't have it. I mean, they've dropped 7 of their last 8 games. This team is injured. I'm not saying this team is going to be, cooked for the postseason and, not going to make it. I still think there's plenty of time for them to turn it around. And there's rumblings that, fans want Craig Berube out. It's not his fault. This team is banged up. They haven't been able to find any defensive stability. And they just haven't been able to get it all to click. And they've lost a lot of close games. A lot of games where they had leads and blew them. And I just don't know if I just can't get behind them in their current form, especially since they're, 1-6 on the road this season. It's not a game I'm rushing to the window to bet. It's probably the one I'm going to stay away from the most, not just because I'm a Leafs fan, but because I genuinely just don't get a good read on the Leafs are a volatile team that they could just come out and beat the brakes off of the Blue Jackets here, and it wouldn't surprise anyone. So I'm going to lean towards the Blue Jackets on the money line, but ultimately I'm probably not touching this one. Now we're off to the UBS Arena, where the New York Islanders are taking on the Boston Bruins, and both these teams have played towards the over this season. They have higher records towards the over. But I'm going to go with the under in this one. You have Boston, who has only averaged around 2 goals per game during this 3-game road trip that they've been on so far. Yeah, they've allowed less than 3 goals per game. And you have the New York Islanders, who, like I said, were playing a higher scoring, faster brand of hockey this year, but are back to playing low scoring, older Islander style hockey, where we've seen 5 goals or less scored in 8 of their last 9 games. So for me in this one, I think this one has 3-2 written all over it as well. I'm going to lean towards the under between the Islanders and the Bruins. Now we're off to the Little Caesars Arena for this game between the Detroit Red Wings and the Nashville Predators. And, if you follow the Preds this season, you know that they've looked more and more like the Predators of last season that were a massive disappointment than they have the team that we expected them to be. And now it's gotten to the point where the Predators said they're openly taking calls on Steven Stamkos and Jonathan Marchessault, who were two of the big prized acquisitions that they had in the offseason last year going into 2024-25. And now it's just all falling apart for Nashville, who's once again lost 3 straight, 8 of 9. You're going into Detroit against a team that's been inconsistent, but they still have won 4 of their last 7 games. They've been better at home this season, where they're 8-4-1. I just trust Nashville 0 in a spot like this. I think the Red Wings are the better team, far more reliable team. I'm going to go with the Red Wings in this one. I'm going to take them on the money line. Now we're off to the United Center, where the Chicago Blackhawks take on the Minnesota Wild. And I have been so high on the Chicago team this season. It's probably one of my favorite teams to have backed up to this point in the year. However, I'm not going to be backing them in this one. I think I'm going to be on Minnesota here, mainly because I just don't love the form that Chicago is in right now. It's one of those situations where it's either been that the goaltending hasn't been able to hold it down, the offense hasn't done its job, or in the Buffalo game it was simply a case of both. The offense couldn't do enough to keep him in this game, but it's hard to keep yourself in a game where you give up 9 goals. So for me, Minnesota's just playing the far better hockey right now. They're the far hotter team. They've won 5 straight, 7 of 8 and 8 of 10, picking up some solid road wins along the way, back-to-back shutout wins over Pittsburgh and Winnipeg. Like I said, I just don't love the form that the Chicago Blackhawks are in right now. There's going to be plenty of spots for the Blackhawks to provide value for us this season. And maybe, we need a little bit of a cold streak from Chicago to get some of that value back. So I'm going to take Minnesota in this one. I'm going to take them on the money line. Now we're off to the Ball Arena, where the Colorado Avalanche take on the San Jose Sharks. And, last time these two teams faced off, I took a shot on San Jose because I was like, you know what? At that price, I couldn't justify laying it with Colorado, even though they are the far better team. Colorado's still 16-1-5 this season. Only 1 regulation loss through 22 games so far for Colorado, which is absolutely insane. They're 8-2 at home this season. But even though people called me crazy for backing San Jose in that game, I'm still going to do it again here, but I'm going to do it just spread out a little bit. I'm not going to go heavy on this one, but I'm going to take a shot here on the Sharks plus the 2.5 goals, which is still a low laying juice price. I think we're on -130. Plus 1.5, you're getting plus money, and the money line's at plus 300 right now. I think this price is based on the fact that Colorado is still one of the best team in the NHL, and been really good at home. And some of it is also, I think, the stigma that is still, people saying, the Sharks can't still be as good as they are right now, which is 11-9-3 this season. If you had told San Jose that they'd have 11 wins in their first 23 games after what we've seen from them the past couple of seasons, I think fans would have been doing backflips for the San Jose Sharks. For me, I think, like I said, I think this is just a play on the price, a play on the value here, and the fact that the San Jose Sharks have been able to win some games on the road lately. They've been competitive and they've beaten a lot of tough teams. So while Colorado is a strong team in their own right, again, they've been winning a lot of low-scoring games lately. I'm going to take a shot here on the Sharks, plus the 2.5, plus the 1.5, and I'll put a little bit on Sharks money line as well. Now we're off to the Delta Center, where the Utah Mammoth take on the Montreal Canadiens, and a game where I kind of went back and forth on this one, but I'm going to stick with Utah in this one. I just trust Utah at home in this one. They're coming off a nice win over Vegas. They've got the defense rolling once again, and the offense has been able to hold up its end. Montreal snapped that 5-game losing streak, but it was against the Toronto Maple Leafs, and it was at home, where Montreal's been better, and Toronto's flat out stunk on the road this season. Montreal, they've had a nice road record of 5-2-2 so far this season, but I'm still not sold on this Montreal team whose goaltending has fallen off a cliff in a lot of in a lot of their recent games over the last couple of weeks. I think that Utah, just a sharper defensive team, and I think that that's going to be the difference in this game. I'm going to go with the Mammoth in this one. I'm going to take Utah on the money line and lean. Now we're off to Climate Pledge Arena where the Seattle Kraken take on the Dallas Stars. The Dallas Stars coming off of that blowout win over Edmonton on Tuesday. Now they're on a back-to-back here. But I still like them here. I mean, Seattle, they're coming off a 4-game road trip. They do get back home where they have been a lot better this season at 6-1-3. But the goal scoring was drying up for Seattle over the course of that road trip where they averaged less than 2.5 goals per... Or sorry, they were averaging around 2.2 goals per game in that stretch. And, I think that Dallas is just a better team in this one, in far better form. They've won 7 of their last 9 games. Likely going to be Casey DeSmith in goal for Dallas here. But I still think Dallas is just the better team, and they've owned Seattle head-to-head in this matchup. They've won 8 straight meetings between these two teams, including a 2-1 win in Dallas back on November 9th. I'm going to go with the Stars in this one. I'm going to take them on the money line. Now we're off to the Honda Center where the Anaheim Ducks take on the Vancouver Canucks. And this is my Dr. Seuss game because we do have a lot of rhyming in this game. And the Canucks, well, the Canucks, they really suck. And I think they're just going to run out of luck in this game. Okay, I'm going to stop. But the Vancouver Canucks are just horrible defensively right now. They can't keep the puck out of the net. And I'm starting to wonder if they could even stop a beach ball if it was coming at them. I mean, they've given up a combined 17 goals over this 3-game losing streak. They've also allowed 4 or more goals on 8 separate occasions in their last 10 games. The Anaheim Ducks, they've won 3 of their 4 games on this homestand so far. They've been very solid at home this season, 8-2. This is a heftier price than I normally like to lay with the Anaheim Ducks, but for me, there's just no backing the Vancouver Canucks in their current form, especially with the way, like I said, the goaltending is playing right now. So I'm going to go with the Anaheim Ducks. I'm going to take them on the money line in this one. On Wednesday's card takes us to the T-Mobile Arena where the Vegas Golden Knights take on the Ottawa Senators. And the Vegas Golden Knights, they're coming off of a back-to-back losses to finish off that road trip. But this is still a Vegas team that has not been as sharp at home as we are used to seeing in recent seasons. The Ottawa Senators, yes, they took a 2-1 loss to LA in their last game so far on this road trip. And the road trip is still going to be going for a while still. But Ottawa's still been playing some solid hockey. They won a couple of scrappy games, 3-2, to start the West Coast swing. And I think they can go into Vegas and surprise them here. Like I said, I think Vegas, just not a team I'm looking to lay this kind of price with in their current form, especially at home. I know they're 5-3-3 at home this season, but they're still just playing some inconsistent hockey right now. They really struggled to string wins together. They're 3-7 in their last 10. I think the value here is on the Senators at the plus money price. So give me the Senators and a lean on the money line to round things out. That is it. That is all the NHL action for Wednesday, November 26th, 2025. Thank you so much for checking out the Wraparound. Let me know who you guys like in this game in the comment section below. Remember to smash that thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. And remember, if you are looking for my best bets, you can head to Pickdawgz Premium, or you can click the link in the description of this video below. And remember to use the promo code PICK, that's P-I-C-K, at checkout, and get 15% off your purchase. Best of luck. We'll see you guys soon.